So you had a good time for the holidays, Dave. That's good.
I had to relearn how to do this shit. It's been too
I know.
It was last year, man.
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice having the 2 weeks off, but
Yes.
now I'm back to seeing everybody. Okay, Rick's coming, so I'll admit him. See, I screwed up again. I didn't put the automatic not having a meeting room. But yeah, this is
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Ray, what's going on?
Hey, Rick.
All right. Hey, what's up, everybody?
So I was thinking about you yesterday, Rick, because I heard on the radio that the Bears didn't use all their tickets, and so now they're putting them on StubHub or something to sell them. You know, New Orleans is, and I was thinking,
Really?
what happened to all the people that bought season tickets? Don't they? Can't they?
Well, I think they're only allowing like 3,000 people in, or if that many even.
Well, yeah, that's what they said. I think it was like 3,000, 3,500.
Yeah.
And the ones that the Bears didn't use, they were going to sell. But I thought, well, hey,
nah. I think I just watched this one on TV. It's just not gonna be the same with a small crowd like that. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I gave up the season tickets for this year, but you didn't lose your place in line. You kept the option to have them for next year. So I get them back next year in the same seats and everything.
Yeah, I get everybody probably did that, didn't they? Nobody would buy them, would they?
Well, some people did, and what they do, they like out of the 8 games, they might have picked, maybe gotten picked to go to 2 or 3, you know, and the rest of them, I guess they'll just charge that, say they weren't used the next year. I don't know exactly how that was working, because everybody I knew was just letting them go and just either getting the credit or else just getting the money back and then putting it on for next year's ticket, you know.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
I know you really enjoy going.
Oh yeah, but you couldn't go to Champion Square and do anything like that. They're not selling any beer, I don't believe. I'm not positive about that, but anyway,
That's a smart idea.
well, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
part of the fun of going is just the whole thing of going down there, going to the quarter for a while, and then going over there and the whole deal, you know. And
And that'd be a bummer to go all the way down there and not be able to get a $12 beer.
I know it's just not right. It's just not right. It's my right as an American. I'm gonna protest.
Yeah.
We're gonna storm the dome.
It's terrible. It's terrible when you spend $50 on beer and you're not even drunk yet.
Yeah, well, I never buy beer. I never buy beer in the dome anyway. Well, we always drink either in the quarter or Champion Square or something like that before for $3 or $4 or just 4 or 5 beers there, and then just all I ever do is maybe get a water or a Coke inside or something. That's about it. Too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you know. What? Well, I guess I have to ask you, Tom. What about? How far from Washington do y'all live? Not very far, huh? Just outside.
Like 4 miles from the White House.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Everybody.
I thought I saw you out there climbing that wall. I didn't know for sure.
I was the one sitting in Nancy Pelosi's chair with my feet up.
yeah.
Oh,
The guy from Arkansas who got arrested.
yeah.
The DC mayor came on and just said, please stay home. And even the Black Lives Matter people, they stayed home.
Yeah.
It's
Like all the people that were there, most of them were just peaceful protesters. Going around. They weren't, but the ones that invaded the Capitol building, got up there. Even the ones that got on the Capitol steps and the balconies and busted up. They have the FBI going after a lot of these people.
Yeah,
You don't have the right to go up there and bust windows
and I know Trump said to go over there, but I don't really think he thought they were going to break in the building.
I couldn't believe it either.
And they're
They
getting
didn't.
down.
Well, but the people he was appealing to all the time, the Proud
Yeah.
Boys.
I got that. And
KKK.
Proud Boy types. Yeah.
I mean, what the hell did he think they were going to do?
It's-
Go up there and have a prayer meeting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not trying to defend him because he's a nutcake, but
It was a strange day, needless to say. I turned on the TV to check for something else and special report. What's going on? Couldn't believe it. Jesus.
I was playing with the grandkids at the time, and I was driving home, and then Bonnie said,
there
Bonnie
it
was
is.
almost
Yeah.
crying. Howdy, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey,
Hello.
hello. How are you doing?
His heart's ticking.
Okay. The pulse is going.
That's
I've
good.
got all of my pills. And I'm going to live to see that son of a bitch in jail.
Yeah.
I told my cardiologist, I gotta live to the 21st.
Yeah.
Come on, don't sugarcoat it, Jeff. Tell it like you really mean it.
Well, I've been praying.
So, David,
I've been praying
Eric,
that he develops a suspicious and painful rash from which he can't recover, and it will drive him nuts for the
He's
few
already
weeks
nuts.
he has left.
Yeah. Yeah. And he itches in a place that cannot be scratched.
Only with a broken bottle.
I'd like to see his kids get a rash. I'm tired of them.
well,
Yeah.
more than him, I'm so sick of the two boys in the Princess. You know, I just can't stand them. They're just
Oh, how can you not love them?
it's easy.
Oh, Barbie doll. Listen. I look at them and I see all of the shit that Trump has produced. And I now put his children in that category. I hope that Barron turns out all right.
Maybe he will. You don't hear much about the other daughter, Tiffany. She kind of stays away from it. But the Princess, I mean, she's even worse than any of them is that son-in-law, Jared
Oh,
Kushner.
yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jared. Oh,
I can't.
look, think of what. No. Oh, you see what I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Where did I get this?
there you go.
And you modeled for that mustache, didn't you?
Oh yeah, looks like I've seen that figure before.
Yeah.
No. Where did I get it?
Well, it looks
Good
like
question.
an anniversary
Where'd
one.
you get it?
Were these
Did
these
Joel?
at Carnegie Hall?
Yeah, Joel gave those out at Carnegie Hall, I think, huh?
Oh, okay.
Boy, I'd love to have had one of those.
Yeah, you didn't give me one.
I,
No,
I
the
was
thing is,
there.
I
I didn't
couldn't-
get one.
I
Right.
couldn't get into
You were there,
it.
right, Peter?
I
Yes.
couldn't get into it. I've lost so much weight. I can now get into it. Now all I need is my face lifted about. Does someone have some duct tape?
Just keep yanking it up until it gets tight in a knot on top of your head.
Well, you know, if you raise your iPad higher, we won't see it.
I have
Nah.
something. I have
You see
something
what
for
you get.
The videographers don't usually shoot the low angle because of
Oh
that.
my
Oh, look at that.
God.
All right.
Oh my God.
Oh, all right. Look at that.
That's the second album. That's the
Wow.
one that's really rare.
But it doesn't list who the players are.
It doesn't?
That's
Really?
because I have no idea what went on with that. All I know is that if any song there has more than 5 chords, I'm not playing.
That's pretty much the whole repertoire.
Yeah.
Hey,
Where'd you
we
get that
can
album?
we can play half the damn tune list with a
Um,
circle of fifths and maybe a minor if you
Yeah.
get sexy.
Well, I'll tell you how I got it. A good friend of mine, Ed Olson, who just missed being in the mustache, but still is a part-time washboard player. His wife went on the internet. He's still living on Long Island, and found one and gave it to me for Christmas.
Oh.
I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but
I have 2 of the albums. There were 3. And I have 2 of them downstairs in storage with all my other LPs. One of them was done in the club in New York. And I remember that because the technicians came in and they had to drill holes in the wall behind the band to feed the mics in, or some crap like that. That was live at your father's mustache.
Wow.
The only one we had in New Orleans was that W.C. Fields one that we were supposed to
Yeah, W. Fields
yeah,
is alive and well.
no, alive and drunk at your father's mustache.
Oh.
That's the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
God,
true. No, we were supposed to. I think I might have sold a total of 5 of those the whole 4 years I was there. For some reason, they didn't sell like hotcakes.
that's because
I forgot about that album. Yeah.
they only sold to people who had compromised hearing. I mean, if you ever, I've had friends of mine who were musicians listen to that, and I think their immediate response was, "Holy shit!" I mean,
I felt kind of guilty on one of the ones I sold. The guy was very drunk, and he asked me, "Is this that same band that's up there?" I said, "Oh, absolutely."
Phil, you didn't.
You want me to get him to autograph it for you?
oh sure, there it is. There's the banjo hand.
Well, I was looking
My
at the
goodness.
videos that Bill did from the reunion, and Chris Fenneman was talking about how he got his job at the Mustache, and when they auditioned him, he just kept his hand in front of the strings because he didn't know how to play, and they took
That's
it.
hey. When Joel interviewed me in the New York club, I told you this. I was walking on the street and I saw the club, and they had a window with all the photographs. And at that time it was the Red Garter. And I was carrying a banjo case. I just bought a very expensive banjo. I think it was $5. I don't know. It was just a piece of shit. And this crazy guy, I'm from New York. For me to call someone crazy, comes out of the door, the front door, and looks at me and says, "Do you play that?" And I'm, in New York, you say something like that, you could get killed. Yes, I played ukulele a little, and I like the sound of banjos. He said, "Come on in." I needed a pill then. He said, "Can you play it?" I said, "Yeah, I know 3 chords, C, D, and G. Oh, and maybe an A." And Joel took out his banjo and he started playing "I'm Looking Over a 4-Leaf Clover." And I think I played 2 chords. I think 2 strokes. And he said, "When do you want to start?" And I said, "What?" We talked a while, and I told him I was in college at Cooper Union. I could walk to the club. And he said, "What about Thursday night?" I think it was Tuesday. I had studios on Tuesday. I think it was Thursday night he wanted me to start. I said, "I don't know any of the songs. I don't play." He gave me the song list. Oh, and God, whatever book it was, an instruction book with the chords. He said, "Come in, we'll train you." At that time, there were 3 banjos in the club. And that's when that photograph, no, by that time I was already playing. It was Ron, Gim, and me, and Grover. That was the front line. And I just started to play. And I don't know who said it. He told me to bring in a piece of red balloon and use that as the pick. So it looked like I was playing. God, that's how I started.
Jesus.
That's how I started. I learned to understand.
Well, when Billy and I went to the club, they just said, "Do you have a white shirt?"
Yeah.
That was quality.
You're right.
White
No,
shirt,
you're
black
right.
pants.
You're right. And it was white pants.
Yep.
White pants and a white shirt, and we'll give you whatever else you need.
Yeah. A shoestring tie and
Yeah. The garters. God. Oh, and Joel didn't have shoes on 7th Avenue in New York. He was standing in the street without his shoes. I thought the guy was certifiable.
Well, you probably still think that.
Probably. Yeah.
We ought to thank Joel publicly for making this community.
Yeah.
Because that's just, I wrote to him and I said, as I look back, I have to thank you for making this community. I mean, it's been, for me, I think it was 1964. And when I look at all the people I've gotten to know over those years, it's unbelievable. I mean, now with John dead, Kim, myself.
Hey, Mike Johnson. Glad to see you.
Hey guys,
You might.
how are y'all?
Is it cold
Right here.
outside?
You traveled to Colorado or something, huh, Mike?
Well, I've been living here for 60 years or something.
Oh, yeah.
is that all?
Yeah,
Jesus.
maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Hey,
Unbelievable.
question for you guys. I don't know how many of you may have known Red Lear, the tuba player out of St. Louis. Any of you know him? I think he worked at St. Louis Club years ago. Just a monster tuba player and a super nice guy. He passed away on the 5th.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
See that.
I don't think I had ever met him.
Yeah,
I don't believe so.
I got to know him at jazz festivals around the country and mainly in California, some other places. And just a super guy, super tuba player.
Mike,
John
most
down.
of the guys, if we're honest, most of the guys were nice. The biggest problem we had in New York was several of our associates had brown cork fever. You know, they rose in the cups. Jay Brackett,
Oh boy.
he was the first trombone player that I worked with. Jesus, was that frightening? No. I lie. The first trombone player, no, it may have been Jay, or, no, I think it, Dave Bargeron. And he pissed me off no end. Lovely guy. Because he played a C tuba, trombone, and flugelhorn.
Wow.
Wow.
And I turned, I think it was to Tara, and I said, if he takes one more instrument out, I'm going to attack him. I mean, think about the horn players. I can't think of one who wasn't great. Gim is here.
Yeah,
I
Gim's
have
just
a
joined.
Jay Brackett story to tell you. He worked with, I worked with him briefly in New Orleans with Neil Unterseer. And
Yeah.
Neil,
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
Neil said he liked to drink his booze in a peanut butter jar because it had a seal in the lid, and he could drink it. It would go down faster. And he actually drunk himself to death in New Orleans. Poor guy.
That's good.
Jay gave me more laughter.
He had a gravelly voice, sounded like Louis Armstrong.
That's
right. That's right.
I'll never forget that night that he turned to me and said, Holswine, if you play that fucking tune in C, you're all by yourself.
Hi, Banu.
Hey, Ben.
Hi, guys.
Happy New Year.
Hi. I came in just in time to hear fucking. So I knew I was at home.
No. That was Jay Brackett. He was talking.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. You know, it was down yonder. No, wait. Oh, shit.
Down Yonder was in C.
Yeah, no, this was 2 B flats and C.
Okay.
Oh, it was, hello. This is it. Hello. Whatever it was. I'm wiping myself out. I'm pouring sweat trying to hit melody notes. I'm actually looking at the instrument, and it's 2 B flats. And I figured, shit, this is easy. I just move up to C. And I had practiced, and there was dead silence behind me. There was dead silence. Brackett was right over my shoulder, and he was holding his horn. He couldn't play it in C, I guess.
Wow.
He couldn't play the high register. Oh,
There's so many great Jay Brackett stories. They're just, I wrote a whole bunch of them in the book that I just finished the first draft. Yay!
oh yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So, but there's a whole bunch of Jay Brackett stories, and there's one with Buzzy where they were in the Boston Club, and Buzzy would say, well, you know, every once in a while the melody would stop, and you knew that Jay had to go to the bathroom, and you know, you just keep playing a couple more choruses, and then he'd show back up. All of a sudden you'd hear him again. And one night there's no melody for much longer than normal, and Buzzy turned around and Jay was there, but he wasn't playing. And Jay's like walking around the stage looking for something. And Buzzy says, what the hell are you looking for? Jay, what are you doing? And he says, I lost my slide. And he couldn't find it.
Oh,
And
God.
he couldn't play for the rest of the night because he couldn't find the rest of the song. Turns out he went forward with it. It went off the stage and onto the chairs right in front of him, and the tablecloth that was hanging down, you couldn't see it was there. One of the waiters found it later on.
My favorite was the night he announced
Yeah.
loud enough so that it got over the mic, I gotta take a whiz. And I went, okay, but not in the middle of a song.
Yeah.
I gotta take a whiz. And he walked off the stand.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
Well,
walked
that's a good
behind
thing.
Joe Terra. He
Yeah.
walked behind Joe Terra,
Yeah.
and he stopped Joe Terra from talking. We were all stunned. And we went on. I figured we could play I'm Looking Over a Four-Leaf Clover or something difficult without Jay. And 2 songs later, Jay's not back. He had gone to the bathroom. We went in. I forget who went in. Joe Terra. I said, Joe, would you go into the bathroom and see if Jay is okay? Jay was sitting on the toilet, the door wide open, his pants up, and he was sound asleep. He had gone into the men's room. He didn't even have to pull his pants down because he was just going to crash. He was, oh,
Wow. What year was that? You got a ballpark year?
I'm sorry?
What year was that ballpark year? When was that?
Oh, yeah, the one that was the old timers game in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
And I think, geez, I don't remember. It was the late 60s.
Oh, okay.
It was the late 60s. Billy Herbert was playing.
He must have started drinking really, really early in his life.
Jay,
A lot.
it was a shame. You know, he was a writer.
Yeah,
He was a writer and a brilliant writer.
yeah,
I mean, he was really good. God.
yeah. It's too bad. Buzzy said that Jay always said, you know, his dream was to be the great American novelist.
I don't know. Jay always drank, but when he first started, he was like the rest of us. We drank. But I'll tell you one about Jay. May he rest in peace. Murata was going to make me a star. He booked, this is before the hairy mustache and the concert unit. He booked Boots Adams, the president of Phillips 66, at a birthday party in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
That's right. That's right. We flew
You remember that?
We flew down there.
And Jay hated to fly.
Yes.
Remember?
Oh, yeah.
No, he he
Yeah.
was uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
And he went into a store and bought a pint of Jack Daniels and poured it down like it was Coke.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time he got on the plane, he was completely out of it. He was completely out of it.
You know, Murata hated
Oh, yes, Jay played.
He would only sit in on the airplane. He would sit on the last row on the aisle on the right side because there had been a plane crash. Everybody else died except the person sitting in that seat. So he would book flights out far enough in advance that he'd get that seat.
God.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wanted to say hi and bye because I've got somebody picking up a piece of furniture today. So I wish I could.
Oh, tell him to stop by my place. I got a lot of furniture.
Okay.
I'd like him
I'll
to
just
pick
send
up.
them your way.
John,
Bye.
Take care.
Bye, Manu.
Love you.
So long,
Bye.
Manu.
I love you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So long.
Happy New Year, Manu.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, happy. Okay.
I'm hearing something. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah. Who is that?
Chris just faded out on me.
Yeah, Chris is
Kim, you were there. That one photograph that we had was Joe Terra, me, Ronnie Beizell, and you in the front row. Now that's right after or during the time when Joel bought his part out from Jack Dupin and it became your father's mustache.
Yeah.
My internet connection stinks.
No, I'm just trying to think what year it was.
Well, I don't know. It was mid-60s somewhere.
Yeah, because it was really, they had beautiful stained glass windows and your father's red garter was in the bottom pane. on the window, narrow.
Yeah, yeah.
God, in the mid '60s. Jesus.
I don't remember when we changed from the red guard to the Your Father's Mustache. I don't remember that. But it was, 64. No, it wasn't 64. Probably 65 or 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
When we first started working at the Mustache, well, at least when Rick and I started working at the Mustache, there was still a red garter in New Orleans along with Your Father's Mustache.
But about 2 blocks down the street, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah.
That existed in New York too.
Yeah.
That's
In
right.
fact, when they closed, we picked up a few of their waiters down at the Your Father's Mustache.
Yeah.
I don't know about any band members though.
Well, I joined in '66, in the summer of '66.
I'm hearing somebody, but I don't see
Here
them.
by who is that?
That's
That's
Chris.
Chris, I think.
That's Chris. Here comes Barry.
Oh, okay, wait, there's Barry.
Yeah.
Barry and Dottie.
Harry, move a little. You're standing still.
Hey, Barry.
Hey.
Nice.
You missed Banu.
Hey, I miss Banu.
Yeah.
She had to leave. She had to leave.
Thanks for calling, Barry.
I started in the summer.
Thanks for calling.
Because I had to do that. So, sorry I'm late, y'all.
It's all right.
Better late than never.
Yep.
People ask how I am.
Yes, Chris.
I say,
There's Chris. Chris is
exception of
back.
dying, I'm fine.
Well, you keep showing up, so that's good.
This
Who
is,
We got a couple of videos that Billy made one of the from the New York thing about that had John talking to the crowd. So that takes like 4 minutes if you guys want to see it. But
Yeah,
Sure.
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 why not?
Why not? Yeah.
okay, give me a second, it's coming.
I thought it became Your Father's Mustache in '62 because in '87 was the 25th reunion.
I come to this meeting today and I'm saying, wow, I can't wait to find out all the great memories we had. First thing Joe says to me, he said, John, do you know what my favorite memory of you is? He said, you came up 2 flights of stairs to my bedroom. He said to me, Joel, I'm going to be sick. I laid down in bed and I had a convulsion. I put a book in your mouth. I said, my wife says to him, what happened? He said, he chewed it to shit. I go over to Ron Slater, and Ron Slater said, John, remember when you had a convulsion in my house? I put my wallet in your mouth. I still got the teeth mark in the wallet. Jeff Olswang comes to me. Jeff says, John, remember Lake Compounds? You had a convulsion in Lake Compounds. I called my father, he was a doctor, to take care of you. All right. Then Pete comes over to me. He says, you remember Cheyenne Frontier days? You were in the orphanage where we were staying, and you fell and you hit the radiator, and you had a... If I remembered all the convulsions, I wouldn't be an epileptic. The thing that I remember most about Joel, I am the most appreciative about Joel, is he gave you a chance to fail. And I took a lot of opportunities. I started out as a bookkeeper, I became a purchasing agent, I became an auditor. And then one day, he had this crazy idea that the only one who could run the musicians outside of the club was another musician. Now, not being a musician, I thought that was the stupidest idea I had ever had. Everything was going along fine, and we had a guy named Ron Gall, who was a tuba player, running the show. 2 guys with an Italian accent walked in and said, where's the money from the restaurant? They didn't know that we didn't have money in the office. So he said, I don't have the money. They took out a gun, they shot at him, and then by his ears stuck in the wall, Ron quit. I said to Joe, why? I said to Joe, here's my chance, let me run with you. He said, okay. He said, just one thing you got to remember. You gotta book more than one show in a row. You gotta have as many people, as many shows as you can. That way you spread the expense over it. So I sent people to Lake Compounds. We got some people from Compounds here. And I said, look guys, you get all the beer you can and you ride the roller coaster as much as you want. Sent them to Cheyenne Frontier Days.
Yeah.
Put them up in the wing of a orphanage. I even, for entertainment, I tried to break a Mustang from them. They got a lot of laughs out of that. We went to some of the strangest, weirdest places I could find. Not because I wanted to, but because I listened to Joel. Book as many as you can. And that was the beginning of my success in life. All my life, I just remember, the more you do, the more money you make.
Billy Blank.
Billy, that was great.
Yeah.
It doesn't strobe like that. We're gonna upload the a better version of it to the YouTube and put it in. You know,
Good.
because it doesn't strobe and you can hear a lot better. So.
And I thought this would be a good one. This thing would be good to do a memorial to John that maybe his family could look at. So if you could tell a few stories about John, that would be good.
All I know is that whenever I got, what was her name? Penny?
Penny Clark?
Penny Clark, yeah.
Yeah. She'd walk out of the office in New York
That's what it was going to work.
and come into the club. And she'd walk up to me and she'd say, Jeff, John's got a really good job for you. And I said, where is it? She said, I have no idea. And I went in there and I said, John, where are you sending me? He said, I'm going to make you a star. Right? Did any of you hear that line? He was going to make you a star?
No.
That was Lake Compounds.
I think we all heard it.
That was Lake Compounds. That and a meat hook. I said, who's the band? He said, don't worry. I'll get you musicians. Me, I'm going to lead a band. He sent us to some. Kim, did you play the old Homestead in Virginia?
No, I didn't make that one. He only sent me to Yankee Stadium and to to a volunteer fire department New Year's Day and all that kind of thing. And,
God,
yeah.
He sent
me to
us.
he sent me to the Catskills once. That was fun.
God. I don't know. Maybe he had it out for me, or I know I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough to play lead in any normal club, so he figured he'd put me out on the road where I couldn't get hurt. And we played. He hired us out to the most corrupt human being in the United States at that time, Roy Cohn, Joe McCarthy's attorney.
He was also Donald Trump's attorney, but let's not go into that.
And he was the sleaziest human being I ever met, and we played on his yacht, which was just a little smaller than the QE1. It was enormous. It was on the East Side Yacht Basin. And he had, God, who was the cardinal then? He had the Cardinal of New York.
Richelieu?
Yeah, right.
No, Spellman.
Oh, Cardinal
Spellman.
Spellman. Yeah, I remember. I remember him. Yeah.
Cardinal
Spellman.
Spellman, the only dwarf ever to become a cardinal. He was about that high. And Cohen had a collection of crooked cronies there that was unbelievable. Oh, that was another one. He was going to make me a star.
Huh.
Oh, God. He sent you out to a lot of places, didn't he, Tim?
Well, I would. He'd send me locally. I mean, I didn't travel too far. We booked the Yankee Stadium gig where we played the Giant home games and we played the Yankee home games for a long time. That was him. He also sent me to a New Year's Eve party held at a volunteer fire department out in Haverstraw, New York, which turned out to be
that's a good one.
That was a wonderful gig. It's terrific. If you ever want to work for somebody that will be generous to you, work for the volunteer fire department. They were terrific. Boy, we crawled home from that baby, I'll tell you. And then he had this nice little weekend thing up in the Catskills during ski season, where we go up and play Friday and Saturday night and get room, board, and free skiing. That was kind of fun. I don't
Did y'all
know.
play? There's a hot time in the old town tonight.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
God. John.
That was at Mountain, wasn't it, Kim?
What was that?
Yeah, that was Chris. Your microphone is really, really hot for some reason.
Yeah.
It's clipping. We can't hear you too good.
Yeah.
Chris,
I
can you
don't
hear
care.
us?
I don't care. Who can't we hear?
Something's wrong there.
Yeah.
Chris, we're having technical difficulties with you.
Well, Jeff, this is for you.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Take it down. I'm having chest pains. That was my favorite.
Sure.
Wooden roller coaster.
That's it. And you went up past the tower, and that's the first drop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the kid running the roller coaster told me the business about leaning forward as opposed to backwards. And then you don't feel sick. You just feel speed. And he said, because you keep the center of gravity inside if you lean forward. And I looked at Einstein, who was giving me this physics lesson. I said, okay, I'll try it. It worked. And then I just rode on the ride time after time. I'd take a break and I'd run out. I owe some of the musicians I apologize to. Pete?
Yeah, I'm here.
I apologize to you.
Well, no problema.
Like Charlie on the MTA, but with a roller coaster, huh?
Yeah.
That's it. It was
Over and over and over again.
oh
So
and
go back and play.
that it. And you remember that crowd?
Oh,
Jesus,
crazy people.
And I loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
The roughest part was driving back to New York.
Did we drive back?
Yeah, I think so. We floated by someplace.
God.
How far from New York is Lake Compound?
A couple of hours.
Yeah, that's about right.
So where was the
Good
Harry
old
production
Russ
office?
Adams.
Oh, God.
The hairy lip office was right there underneath, a little bit
Yes.
further than we're looking at. You see what the picture we're looking at, the mustache?
Right.
You look
Yeah.
right another 10 feet. That was the hairy lip office. That's where the John Murata worked out of.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a narrow office.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
With the moose head.
I have a little aside for that. I found a John Murata free admission to the mustache card on eBay once. And this is John and I were friends on Facebook. So I sent him a copy of it. And I said, did you know this is on sale for $15 on eBay? And he said, well, see if you can find one that says my Hairy Lip Productions card. It looked a lot better. Believe me, you don't want to Google Hairy Lip Productions. You will not see anything that has anything at all to do with your father's mustache. I mean, it was like, holy shit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I wonder why they have international office on this card.
That's probably because they had a location in Blackpool, and I don't know, that might have been after Brussels opened or around the time they were opening Brussels.
Yeah. And didn't we have one in Canada for a weekend?
There was, I think it's 2 or 3 days. It was in Vancouver, but I think that was a franchise. Pretty sure it was a franchise.
But he used to book in
Brussels and Blackpool too, huh?
Yeah.
Blackpool had been there for a while, and they sent me over to Brussels to open the club over there. And then Joel came over at one point, and we went over to Blackpool, and it was a really close place, cold place, but weird hours because they could be open from like noon to 3 and had to close down till 6 o'clock and could be open till 10. So the British drinking laws and hours were really strange at that time. But the Brussels club lasted, I think, about 3 years.
How long was Brussels open, Mike?
I think it was about 3 years. Joel sent me back after we got it open. I was been there 6 months, and it took 6 months to get it open. It was just the day I got there, it looked like it had been bombed out during World War II and never touched again. We got it open. Then he sent me back to the States, said that he wanted a Belgian European to run it, and Gentry and quite a few other people went over there and played there for a while. And I think it lasted 2 or 3 years at the most.
And then you went back to Denver?
I came back to Denver about 3 days after it opened. And it kept open after that, but Joel wanted a local guy to run it, not an American.
Sure.
God.
What, this is Barry. I worked for John in the show band for 3 or 4 months, the summer of '72. And I will tell you that I did a lot of trips. And I'm thinking about the trips that are all put together well, where when we went out, for instance, if we were going out west, we had 2, 3, or 4, 5 jobs. We're going to the southeast. We had 2, 3, or 4, or 5. In other words, they were strung together. So if we were making a trip, we're getting a lot of jobs. That seemed to be good, and all the airlines were worked out. The hotels were really good, you know. So I thought I didn't know much of what he did, but what I saw of what he did was pretty good.
Did he ask you to wear the uniform in the airport?
No, I never had that. I didn't
He
wear
tried that. He
Now,
tried
we did
that.
have
May
a number
rest
of
in
different
peace.
uniforms. There were 2,
No,
3,
he wanted the white.
different uniforms.
He wanted the white with the stripe, candy stripe vest. That was it. You want a Murata story? He sent me out to some great gig in Spokane, Washington, with a band I knew nobody. I didn't know anyone, which for me didn't make much difference. And we were suited up. We went to the hotel. We had to walk across the street to the auditorium. And that's when I had my beautiful symmetrical mustache with the big ends. And this sweet little woman was walking across the street towards us. And she stopped in front of me And she grabbed hold of my mustache. And she went, "Is that real?" And she started to pull me across the street. I couldn't believe it. God, what places. Spokane, Washington.
Wow.
And Frontier Days, that was a zoo.
Yep.
Cheyenne Frontier Days, that went on for years.
That was in an old horse barn, Jeff.
Tell me about it. I still have my shoes. Bron.
Covered in sawdust and dirt and horse shit.
There's Mike.
Hey, Mike.
The horse shit.
Hey, Mike, how are
You
you?
got that right.
Good, man. How's everybody?
Hey, Mike.
All right.
Hey,
Howdy,
Mike.
howdy. Hey, Jeff.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Jeff.
New Year.
That's Cheyenne Frontier Days.
No,
No.
that's some beach.
Okay.
God,
No.
I found my bathing suit, the Bumblebee bathing suit. Jesus, I could only get one leg in.
Barry, didn't you say you have one?
I have one. I have one for the show band. Yeah.
Try it on.
Oh yeah.
No.
I don't know. I might be able to get my feet.
I'm weak, Barry. I'm weak. I can't take the shock.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I got to tell you, I wrote a letter to Joel. It was a little mushy because it's when I visited my cardiologist the last time. The test was perfect. The results, not so good. So he said, no more intervention. I said, okay, I've had 5 heart attacks, a stroke, and some suspicious rashes. But I got to the point where I said, I don't really care. I made it to 80. And then I started getting books on end of life. And I realized it's not too bad. And when Barry called me and told me that John, come in. When John died, I said, I hope he went quickly. I hope he went quickly. Does anyone know?
I didn't even know he had COVID.
Yeah, I did not know he had COVID
Neither
either.
Yeah, I mean, was he sick?
It must have been very quick because, the whole of Southern California is just a COVID factory right now. They're dying.
Yeah, but I didn't think when you got COVID, you went that quick.
You can't.
It's very possible to not know you have it for the first 2 weeks, and then
That's true. Yeah.
Then you get sick and you die, and they go to the hospital in a week. You're gone.
Yeah.
And if you have underlying conditions,
Yeah.
That's
But even
it's
not-
close the door.
Yeah. Well, I got my first shot already. I'm waiting for the second.
Yeah, I got my first one too.
You really? That's good for you.
Only had to get in line at 6 a.m. and get the shot at 12:30.
No,
Where'd you
not
get
in
it,
Orange
Ira?
County, in
Welcome to
Florida.
Florida.
Well, go to Florida because
Ira.
I did it. I checked in, my slot was between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. I got there about 5 minutes to 3, and I was out of there with the shot at about 20 after.
Oh, what county? Where in
I
Florida?
never had to get out of the car. They did it right with me sitting in the car.
Where in Florida?
Pardon, Nara?
Where in Florida?
Orlando,
Uh,
at the Orange County Convention Center.
I'm down southwest.
They did it.
I got there 6 a.m. I was number 375 in line. And we got through and got shot at 12:15.
Wow.
And we don't even have appointments yet here, but I think they're just starting.
Well, that's the only way to go because they did it in the underground parking lot. So you drive in.
Yeah.
And they just, everything's.
Everybody here brought chairs and coolers, and
No,
it was pitch black.
Never got out of my car.
Oh.
I just said, keep going, and then you keep going straight and you come out the back end. I said, okay, wait out in here 15 minutes, make sure you don't cack. And if you're okay, then drive home.
I had a friend on the East Coast. A lot of my friends are on the East Coast. They went to their clubhouse at their condo, walked in, got the shot. They said, okay, here's your next appointment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Goodbye.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. I guess it pays
Well,
to
they
be over
just came-
65.
I just found out that they came here. I live in independent living where the average age is 100.
I was going to say about 110.
Yeah, something like that. And they came here and they started with the staff, which is right.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went up to the 5th floor. That's where the people who were not so good. Then the 4th floor, I think we get ours in 2 weeks.
Your first shot?
Yeah, the first shot.
Yeah.
They bring it because I live in what you would call a retirement facility. A retirement facility. We have independent living, which is where I live, assisted living, which is where you lie down, and then the 5th floor where they have the droolers.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, Kim,
Oh,
you've
Lord.
got to laugh. The one thing I've learned is that I plan on going out with a corned beef sandwich in my mouth, laughing. And my obituary has 3 words in it. Suddenly, unexpectedly, surrounded by cookies. That's all I want. I want to be dead before I hit the floor. I don't want any. Oh, God, who's
no.
Jeff, you should have been a funeral.
Christine Banu.
That was a while ago.
Jeff should have been a funeral director.
Where is that picture taken?
God. And I'm smiling.
You're always smiling, Jeff. Where was that picture taken?
I don't remember, but with Banu and Christine and that tall young kid who was the trombone player, someone they sent up. I don't know.
Hmm.
It looks like
I don't remember half the job.
It looks like a ticket booth for a carnival.
Yeah.
Ah.
Maybe you were getting on the roller coaster.
No. No.
Christine
That
looks
might
the
be.
same. Christine looks exactly the same.
No, that might be the Kentucky State Fair. We were in a parade there, and I had my nice white sneakers on, and I stepped in a mountain of elephant shit.
Hey.
That's good luck.
I know it's good luck. You didn't put your hand in it. That's the good luck.
Didn't remember it.
God.
Oh, man.
One time John Murata asked me, he said, I bought this piano and I needed to be moved from Manhattan to my house in Queens. That I rented a big moving van. Said, Barry, I want you to drive it from Manhattan to Queens. I said, John, I've never driven in Manhattan. Nothing, not even a bicycle. He said, all right, you're going to be fine, kid. Fine. Now, I was a new guy in the show band. He was the big boss. I never forget getting in a big moving van truck driving down 7th Avenue with a piano in the back. And
Perfect.
And I said, well, I don't know. I can't see to change lanes. He said, look, count to 5, put your blinkers on, count to 5, and just switch lanes.
That's it.
That's what I did. That's what I did. I made it out the Queens.
Who'd you do it with, Barry? Danny?
No, Bob Adams was.
Oh, Bob.
He wasn't in the truck. I was by myself.
I was going to say, Bob Adams would know how to get from Manhattan to Queens. You were new in New York.
Well, I followed him in his car.
Ah.
How did we?
I got another Murata story. We were playing in playing in Edmonton, Canada, and he made the trip, which Murata usually didn't make the trips. He was out in Canada. And we're up in a hotel room, and my suitcase was open. They had a big bottle of Jim Beam in there, and he says, "You know what? Don't you think you might be drinking a little too much?" I was 19 years old. He said, "Don't you think you might be drinking?" He's the first person to ever tell me something like that. And I went, "Drinking too much? No, And now I went on, drank a whole lot more for years after that. And I sit here today, 21 years sober. He's the first person to tell me I had a drinking problem.
There he is.
Oh my God.
Sam Pillay fan. John. Was that Sue Motzinger next to Bob? Sue Motzinger.
That's Chris. I don't know the blonde.
I think the blonde is Sue Motzinger. Pretty sure.
I don't know.
And that's Palafian next to Murata.
Right.
Could be. Could be.
God.
It's a good picture too.
We also had a fire truck.
In New York?
Yeah.
That's
That
before
ran
my
for about
time.
2 weeks. Do you remember that? Kim, do you remember that?
Oh, very well. We used to use it in the Macy's parade, but I'm wondering whether we owned it or just kind of borrowed it for the occasion, because I don't remember where the hell it was during the year.
New Orleans had a fire truck and a car.
New Orleans, yeah.
At
It
different
was
times.
changed. It was
Well,
changed.
we had a fire truck on Cape Cod. We did not have one in Boston, and we had one in New York. But you only saw it on. Well, I only remember seeing the New York one on for the Macy's parade.
There it is.
Yeah, Bill Higbee.
Yeah.
Dave Hunt. Ira Gunn.
God, I can't believe I've outlived all these kids.
Is that Ira got there too?
That's
Yeah, he's in front, but who's next to him?
That's McClernand on the roof, right?
Yeah, but who's on the far right?
Oh, I remember him, but I don't remember his name.
It's not Dennis Drury, I don't think.
No, that's not Dennis.
No,
That's a waiter, I think. I don't think it's a musician.
that's someone we picked up on 10th Avenue.
No
Who the
problem.
hell knows?
He just happened to be wearing knickers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, we had those on one of the tapes from the Ed Sullivan Show. We ran down the aisles.
Oh yeah.
And we were all wearing knickers, +4s. God, did we look young?
You were young.
We were. That's why we looked young.
We were.
In New Orleans, the Mustaches Fire Engine, they used to take it out just before the night to advertise the club. Remember that, Rick?
Yeah, we drove it around the quarter a number of times. I did. I drove it around some. Bill did, I think. Didn't you, Bill?
I never did drive it, but we did go with the Playboy.
I drove it.
to
I
raise
drove it
money
some.
with it once. That was
I
fun.
drove it some. Everybody got to run. Late Happy New Year to everybody.
Okay, Rick.
Thank you.
See you next week.
So hi to Sandra.
If all's well and God spares me, I'll see you guys next
You'll
week.
be here. You'll be here, Jeff.
Oh, good.
Hey,
Hopefully,
Before you
hopefully I
go-
won't be the color of your shirt, Ira.
Yeah, before you go, I wanted to say that I did correspond on Facebook with John's daughter. And
Oh.
John's daughter, some of y'all might have read it, said that this group made a big difference in his of his wife, and he would look forward to getting on with us. So we did this ragtag bunch we got here serve the purpose. How about that?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, as we're going out, I'm going to play the like 5 minutes of the last time John was on.
How did things turn out in Metairie? How's Metairie doing?
Well, that's where Barry lives, Barry Foulon, and there's just not any power. You know, the houses are fine, but you know, when you lose power, at least it's not real hot right now. It's cooler,
Yeah.
so it's not stifling. But it's
I got a cousin, my niece is there right next to the water, right near the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In Metairie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
my wife's relatives are from Louisiana. They're from down near Grand Isle, Bayou Lafourche.
Grand Isle and all that took a big hit.
They did?
Oh, yeah.
I got my brother-in-laws there. So I guess I'm going to have to send them money for something, for sure.
Yeah.
It's the least I can do. These guys are good to me.
Yeah,
But
no,
these
Grand
guys-
Isle, they have what they call a burrito levee. It's basically a material that's filled with sand, and it looks like a giant burrito, and they lay it out trying to keep the Gulf of Mexico off of Grand Isle. And it water went over the top of it. I mean, it just didn't even do anything.
It's because they didn't use the Tabasco sauce.
That's right. They could have got the burrito grande, and they just got the regular burrito, so.
Should have let it get stale for a day. That would held the water back.
But there were no fatalities, but it was just a lot of people's houses got destroyed, and a lot of people that left the Grand Isle area and all that, they were mandatory get out of South Louisiana, and they lined up all their mobile homes and trailers and stuff on the shoulder of the highway 36, or I can't remember if that was the one, and they thought they'd be safe there, but nobody knew it was going to be a Cat 2 when it comes in, so it just kind of mowed them down off the side of the highway. It flipped them over and everything. So
were they in them then?
No, a lot of them, they just parked them there to keep them from getting underwater, but they didn't realize it was going to be that much of a wind event.
Yeah.
Because the wind got up over 100 miles an hour in a lot of places,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who would have thought, man, 2020, are you ready for getting over this mess?
Oh, yes.
Well, John, it's good to see you again. So you have to tell us how this 12th life yours works out here.
My what?
Didn't you say you have 12 lives? You said you
Well,
were 12?
I'm down to, I got 11 left.
Okay. Yeah.
The last time I went to the doctor, and he said, well, John, you want the good news or the bad news? I said, give me the bad news first. He said, you had 2 heart attacks. And I said, how bad were they? He says, well, there's scar tissue. I said, give me the good news. He says, you're alive.
You should get with Jeff.
Yeah, where's Jeff? Jeff's been getting on early lately.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody, it's just us guys. But I'm so glad to see you, Billy, because I was afraid that you guys were still without power.
Yeah, well, we got. I hooked the generator up. We were only dark. Let's see, the power went out after the storm passed us. Like it passed, the heavy part passed about 7 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, our power goes out, and it was too late at night to me go out in the yard and mess around with the generator. So we just lit of course, being a videographer, I have all kinds of LED lights. So we lit up every room with all that. And the next morning when it got bright enough, I went outside and hooked up the generator. And we had that until last night about 8 o'clock. The real power came on. So I disconnected the generator. So.
Yeah, about 2 years ago in Washington, we had a big snowstorm and all the power was out in a whole lot of areas of the city. And I had all my LED lights, so all the people in the neighborhood came over for a party, you know, like bring your food, we'll cook it all because we have gas stove and stuff. And then the news crew came by and said, we came by for a disaster story. I said, well, come on in.
Yeah. Yeah.
We saw your lights.
Yeah. That's me. I had every room lit up with my LEDs, you know, that I charge them up all the time anyway for jobs. And so they were all, and they run forever, you know.
Yeah. No, they're great.
Mhm.
So David, what's happening in the mountains?
All's well. The colors are pretty much gone, especially with the wind. It got, I guess, 30, 35 mile an hour winds, but not for long and not much rain. So all was good because they were acting like it was going to be, you know, a tropical storm still up here. But yeah, all was well. No flooding that I heard about.
That's good.
Yeah, it wasn't that much of a wet event. You know, it was a lot of wind, you know, and it depended upon what side of the eye you were on. If you were on the east side of it, you were okay. If you were on the west side of it, it had a little more kick to it. I'm sorry, other way around. The east side caught more. The east side of the eye caught more wind. That was like Grand Isle and all the way through South Louisiana, St. Bernard, Waveland, Mississippi, Bay St. Louis. They caught it pretty bad too. You know, so you know, they said by I think 7 in the morning it was already to Atlanta. You know, so it really rocked through our area.
Hey, Bill, are you on? Bill Meachin?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my video.
Okay. Well, maybe it's because you got a face for radio.
No, it's been working up until now, but I got the microphone fine. Still got that little line through the video, and I can't get it to go away.
Harry and Dottie can't get on.
Yeah, I can't even see
Battery.
see a camera on yours. It's just the microphone. So.
Well, I got a note on the screen that says Zoom is unable to detect a camera.
Yeah, I don't know. And I love it, Billy. We got 2 Tom Wolfs.
I didn't ever change it when I logged on.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It helps me if you end up taking over.
Well, I just keep forgetting to get out of your profile because I couldn't upload pictures and stuff from mine. But when I took over for you, I was able to put on.
Did everybody see Joel's portrait when I sent it this week?
I saw that.
You think that would help if I shut down and came back on again?
You might try that because, like I said, I don't even see on my screen where I see the cameras and the microphones. I don't even see a camera.
I see the picture of me playing banjo.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can hear you fine, but yeah, if you want to try again.
He's writing key too, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
why I
look
took
like
the
I'm playing
picture.
banjo. It's all illusion.
Well, while you were gone, John, Benu came on a couple times, and Christine came on once. I think I don't know if you were here then or not, but
I saw her when she came on at least once because couldn't believe what she looked like.
yeah.
She looked great.
And Benu's been sending in a lot of pictures.
Oh, wow.
So I was hoping she'd join, but she might be out of electricity too, because uptown, I don't know how they're doing.
She's still writing a book. I don't know how she's doing with that.
Now, was Buzzy her husband?
Yeah.
Okay, now, and he played for you and the Mustache too, right?
Mm-hmm. Buzzy started in Chicago, and then he came to New York when he graduated from his undergraduate. He came to do his master's work in New York, and he worked for us in the New York club. And they knew he worked with us on the road for a while. Benu came from Florida with 2 other girls, and they were there. And Benu was the best. She was the best as far as she wasn't trying to upstage everybody. Everyone else was trying to be an upstage. But when she got on, she wasn't trying to upstage anyone. And Buzzy and her worked together a lot on different kinds of bits and everything. And everything was fine until one day I set up a 2 or 3 week tour. And so they started out in Chicago. Chicago was the first stop. And Buzzy bought a Frankfurter from a street vendor, wound up in the hospital. So now he's in the hospital, and I've got 3 weeks of work to do. So I have to send out another banjo player. So he gets pissed at me because I didn't pay him. I said, Buzzy, you didn't work. I can't help it. I'm sorry. You know, and he just got pissed at me. He wouldn't work for me anymore. Then he'd work only in the club. Then he went down to New Orleans because he got the job teaching at Tulane.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw Buzzy and Banu, well, their kids were about 10 years old. And their kids are much older than that now. Their kids are at least 30 or 40 now. So, but
And so who did Christine marry?
Christine was married to a guy named Bendinger. He fell in love with the one he was in Chicago when he was in college with her. And he would do these stupid things that got her. He would fill her mailbox with bubble gum and do all this stuff. And she fell in love. So she got married with him. They got married, and it turns out that it was kind of like an abusive type of marriage. And then she came to New York from Chicago, from the Chicago band. She came to New York, and that's when she met Bob Adams, and her and Bob were together. I left in 75, and they were still together. But
now, is Bob Adams the one who everybody thought Christine's name was Goddamn It, Christine?
That's it. That's it. I mean, he's the one. She on the stage in Calgary. She went up to him and she put down her horn. She went up to him and he looked at her and she socked him right square in the jaw and knocked him off the stage. And then the next thing I know, she gives me a call. It's like 11 o'clock New York time. She calls me and she says, John, I'm coming home. And so I'm saying, what do you mean you're coming home? Something happened to the job? Did anything go wrong? She says, no. She says, I just knocked out Bob. I said, you're kidding me. She said, no. I said, all right, you better come home before he gets home. Go ahead, come back home.
Did she say what he did that make her want to punch him?
I know I'm privy to a lot of things that went on that I doesn't matter, but he deserved everything he got.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if she was my daughter, I would have killed him.
Oh, Lord, okay.
I would have killed him if she was my daughter. But that's the way, and she would always stand up for him. So it wasn't my job to stand up for her. I tell her, I'll give you a job. You don't have to work with him. I'll work with someone else. She said, no, I want to work with him. So I said, fine. So it was just one of those things that every time he'd tell us something, she would try to make a suggestion, but he couldn't take suggestions. And I guess that's the easiest way to explain it. And boy, he did some beautiful things, I'll tell you.
So is this Christine?
That's Christine with the horn, yep. There's Bob, Christine, Banu. I can't tell who that's on the tuba, and that's Hoyt, I think, on the all the way on the left. Hoyt Corey? Is that him? That's who he looks like. Yeah, Hoyt Corey. Yeah, Hoyt Corey. His name Hoyt. I always wondered, where do you get a name like Hoyt? He said, it's a family name. I said, a family name? He said, yeah. He says, my father was saved during the war by a guy named Hoyt. And he says, I got stuck with the name.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a lot of the people had a really good time. They learned a lot. I mean, Billy and I and David, we had a good time just being waiters and working in the bar. But it sounds like the bands had a really good time traveling and working.
The band had a good time depending on the gig. You know, if the gig was a fun gig, they had fun. If not, but the problem was, as we got more and more sophisticated, the jobs got more and more sophisticated. So it wasn't one of these things where you just went on stage and played these numbers and got off. You had to be on cue. You had to know when your cue was. And when that happened, people got pissed. And that was part of the problem.
Here comes Herb. Herb, you got to turn your camera on.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the middle of a phone call right now with my son.
Okay, never mind.
So where did that picture of Joel come from where he's standing with the globe?
He sent that out one Christmas. It was a card. He sent it out to everybody. And I mean, people that were our customers. He sent it to Schlitz Brewery. He sent it to everybody. When I saw that, I said, you just can't top that.
So I'm playing with my new phone here.
Yeah. What was the cap? Did he have a caption or anything with it, or just?
I'm going to put it
I don't remember.
Now.
Okay.
Yeah. Here it comes. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, Iris sent that. Iris said he got it, I think, 1975 or something. Barry is out of electricity and his phone, he can't get internet, so he's not coming on.
Right. I talked to him yesterday morning or afternoon. He said he did okay. They had some branches down, no electricity, but they're doing fine.
Yeah, I talked to him about an hour ago, and the biggest problem was just, you know, all the fast food places were all piled up with people, and you couldn't get any food because you couldn't cook anything because I guess it's all electric.
Yeah.
But they're doing good. They went to a grocery store and got a hamburger.
Is Barry on?
No.
Oh.
Luckily, we have propane up here, and wood, so we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Back in 08, 09, there was a bad ice storm came through. We had no power for 9.5 days.
Yeah.
But we survived. We had water, we had food, we had heat, and candles and lanterns. You know.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We had 5 days without power in Maryland, and we had gas stoves, and you know we had gas logs in the fireplace, so it worked out fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you do.
But
well, here in California, all we wait for is for a tree to catch on fire, and we're warm.
Well, John, my wife and I were just out there because our sons live in San Francisco and Oakland, and we spent 2 months out there, and it was like the apocalypse. On the first Wednesday we were there, 10 o'clock in the morning, it was like all the lights are on because it's like dark and it's orange. And then you had the bad air for a week and a half. And then you had the heat, and it was crazy.
Well, I'm down here almost to San Diego. I'm just north of San Diego, and the smoke got all the way down here.
Wow.
And then a week ago in Orange caught on fire, and they had a tremendous fire in there. 100,000 people were made to evacuate.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Hey, well, that's nothing. We had 25-mile-an-hour winds here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Whoa, I mean, it was awful. Well, we were having trouble barbecuing.
With or without water, was there any rain?
No rain.
No rain. Oh, that added to it.
Yeah, that would just have ruined everything. Hey, my daughter took me to you talk about San Diego here. She took me to a dog surfing show at Diamond Beach.
Oh, yeah.
This is the southernmost, one more town and you're in Mexico, I guess.
Yep. That's why there's dogs on board instead of men. No, that's a big thing. A lot during the summertime, you see a lot of dogs surfing nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
What I tell you, what really blows me away is when I was 60. The reason I started surfing, the reason I wanted to, when I turned 60, I wanted to compete, and that was my big thing. Instead of jumping out of a plane, I was going to compete. So when I was 57, I started learning. And so here I am, I get to 60, and fortunately, we're set together by age groups. So they start out with the first age group, 5 and under. These kids go out there, and they're doing stuff that I could never even think of doing. And the fathers are on the sand yelling, turn left, now a high one, now turn. And I'm going, leave the damn kid alone. He's doing great, for God's sake. And then it was my turn, and I couldn't even get on the board, for God's sake. I was able to ride one wave, fortunately. And all the other people, my age group, just didn't make it.
John, 60, I mean, to be surfing. It's pretty good.
I surfed until I was 72.
Wow.
I was 72 the last time I surfed.
No sharks?
Huh?
No sharks?
Oh, there's sharks out there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Hold on.
Call from wireless caller.
This is, hello?
Hi from South Carolina. Hello.
Hey, that's Bob Bunsey, John.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm calling on behalf of Brian Marriott.
I knew it was going to be someone calling for a damn politician.
The next person who calls me and asks for a vote, I'm voting for Millard Fillmore.
The last time they called, one of the guys called, and they asked, I'd like to speak to Jacqueline Murata. And I said, okay, what's the problem? What do you need? And so she goes into her spiel. And she goes, I said, you anything else? No. Okay. I'll tell her when I see her, when I die. And she said, what? I said, yeah, my wife died 6 months ago. What am I going to do? She can't vote for you.
Sure she can.
I'll tell you one thing John McClernand did once at the Red Garter. We get these waitresses who are like between high school and college. They're on their way to their first year of college. And so my parents came in to see me play. This is at Jersey Shore. And, so the waitress, they said, oh, go tell Herb that we're here. And the waitress came up and said, hey, Herb, your parents let me know that you're here. And John McClernand turned to the waitress and said, that's a terrible thing to say. Herb's parents were killed in a car accident 3 months ago.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. The waitress was...
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, wow.
Well, it was that kind of a bandstand,
Yeah. Well, John was fair. He was quick on his feet. Yeah. He had that kind of humor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dark humor.
Yeah. Well, my son today sent me a Pixel 5 phone, the brand new phone. I had been using a Pixel 0, and the battery had gone to about 20 minutes without plugging in. So going from a Pixel 0 to a Pixel 5, I feel like I've walked the Yankee Stadium with this phone. I mean, just the choices of video. I mean, I have some really good video and camera equipment. Like, I have a good Nikon camera. This thing keeps up with it.
Really?
So you got a 5G, you mean? You got the 5G?
No, just 5. Oh yeah, it's got the 5G if I ever run into 5G, but it's got it's all ready for 5G.
Yeah.
But you're on the 4G network now, right?
Yeah, I got 4G.
Yeah.
But it's all the stuff that the phone does outside of the phone that makes it just amazing, especially the camera. So the software is amazing.
I didn't even know we had 5G here until our power went out with the hurricane. Like the Wi-Fi was out and all, and I was looking at my cell phone and it said 5G. I said, I got 5G. I had no idea. You know, I guess my data rate just started going. But you know,
Interesting.
we'll find out.
Yeah, I have a lot of expensive video cameras, but I've been doing some stuff with an actress in London, and her son sets up her cell phone, her iPhone, and records it for me and sends it to me on the internet, and that's how we've been shooting it. Is that
wow?
You know, the cameras are really good.
Yeah, I'm supposed to record something this weekend, and they send it into the station, and they're going to turn it into a spot that'll air next week. You know, and it's broadcast quality.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
But
I can remember my first fold out, flip open phone.
Yeah.
It had a little camera, little lens about this big, you know, or a little screen about this big. I'm going, what the hell do I want a camera on my phone for? now my whole life is on the phone.
Yep.
Or on Facebook.
The technology is good enough that if we wanted to play together, we could do it. You know, we could send the file. You know, what you do is you send a sound file, and you put your headphones on to listen to the sound file, and you play it to a microphone. So you're playing along with the band, but the microphone's only picking up you, and then one person adds it up, compiles it all together, and you're a band. I mean, it's a very easy process.
It's a great program called.
Because everyone has recording stuff at home.
Set it up for next Friday.
What's that?
Set it up for next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday we'll have a band. Yeah.
Y'all take requests?
You can take those requests.
Mike, what was the software you mentioned?
The software is called Acapella.
Acapella, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And a friend down in New Orleans, Billy, you may know, Tom Hook?
Yes.
Nope.
No.
No. But
anyway, he works in New Orleans and lives there. Works for the World War II Museum. Does a lot of stuff for them.
Okay.
They're putting some stuff out all the time. And Yoakum used to have a band called the Black Dogs. They're still out there working. Good band.
no,
Yoak's not
I
playing much.
participated in a I guess a virtual choir. A friend of mine teaches music at Tulane and was just looking for anybody that wanted to like memorize a part. And he put together about 100 people on and everybody sang their own part like you were describing. You had your headphones on, so all you could hear is the background music because they didn't want anything to bleed in. And he hasn't finished editing it yet, but I sang some of it. I told him to feel free to cut it out. That parts if you want to. They got like 99 other people in there, so But if I got a couple good notes in, but his name's Leonard Rabin, and he teaches at Tulane. But he does that too. Puts together those little videos where you see where like all these boxes of people singing and come into this big harmony and such.
Mm-hmm.
So I said that looked like fun.
They used to hire Billy and I to do stuff like that, but now they do it on their own.
Yeah.
Anyway, while we're talking technical, Joel needs somebody to, Gim knows about this, to put together a website for the reunion. I don't know when the reunion is. And he wrote me a couple times about it, but I'm not a good website guy.
No, me either.
Yeah, he asked me if I could help it but I just told him, I said, I don't have the slightest idea how to do that damn thing.
Yeah,
But
I don't either, especially what he's at.
He wants to, I talked with him last week about it, and he said that he wants to have some sort of site, and he's talking about a website. I don't know if the website's the right answer, or maybe a Facebook posting. I really don't know what the right medium is, but he wants to have some site, some place, let's say, for people to access, where they can get the itinerary of the reunion, whatever it is, and buy tickets. And do you know of anybody that has the skill to put something like that together?
Christian, would that be something you could do on Facebook? Or
Well, the problem when you get to Facebook is then if you're going to be selling tickets and whatnot, it falls in a different category of page. It has to be a business page. And I don't know how to do those.
If you want to do just a plain, the easiest way would just be a website. And just, the only difference is that you would have to have the first page would be the home site, which would show you what it's about, which would tell you what it's about. And then a second page would be where you would buy your tickets. And then someone is still going to have to take care of the site to keep track of ticket sales and ticket money and receiving the money. And then if something goes south, that person's going to be responsible for returning the money. That's the only thing that I'd be concerned about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be responsible for the money.
Can't we just send out newsletters?
I would think so, but
yeah.
Well, for the Carnegie reunion, I kept track of everything, but all the money went to Ronnie Sater. So maybe we could have him involved in it.
I would imagine. I don't know why Joel hasn't talked to him.
But where's
Maybe he has.
He has.
Maybe he has. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Where is this to happen?
Pardon?
Better than that, when?
Where and when?
Well, who knows when? I mean, he said last time he said, what the hell did he say?
September.
So maybe a window will open up in 2021. So I have no idea. Well, it's all COVID dependent. I mean, it's got the atmosphere, the war's got to be over and the atmosphere's got to be clear before we can do anything.
Well, I just wanted to ask everybody because he sent me an email and asked me to ask. So
sure.
What do we do for Carnegie? We just were on a mailing list, weren't we?
Yes, the musicians were. I don't know how. I really don't know how the ticket sales were managed. I have no idea.
I think Joe took care of that. Joe Sakala. He much was on
Joe
top.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I remember is Barry Foulon called me directly about 3 times. So I guess people just called everybody they knew that was involved to see about coming. And I don't even remember that far back now how we paid for it. I guess there was a website, or did we just?
I don't remember.
No, we mailed checks were mailed in. Checks were mailed to Ronnie Sater.
Okay, that must have been it. Yeah, because I don't even remember 10 years ago.
Yeah, they were mailed to Ronnie, and then Ronnie let me know, and I kept track of it on a spreadsheet.
Oh,
but Ronnie had the money.
Okay. Right.
Now the Sorella guy, whoever you said,
Sakala,
he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he just died. Kathy Goodley's husband.
He was the one who's, I had to sneak a still camera in to get pictures. I was the only one that got pictures during the concert because he said you couldn't take pictures.
That's
correct.
Right.
And I kept sticking it in my coat and coming out and getting a couple shots, putting it back. I was like Mr. Sneak. I was afraid someone would show up.
Tom, those pictures were great too. Those pictures.
Well, I mean, it was the only thing we had of it, but it kind of pissed me off because, I've worked in all theaters all over the world, and nobody has ever, if the band wants to take pictures of themselves, nobody stops that. I could never understand what he was doing, saying
maybe it was Carnegie's policy.
It was Carnegie's rules. That was Carnegie's rules. Right. They had the same rule about about recording of it, but
there was a recording of it, right, Kim?
Yeah, there was. So there is.
I'm not confessing to anything right now, but I got the whole thing on my camera, on my phone.
Good you didn't confess.
Like only everybody with the internet connection can find out.
I got the whole thing on my phone, and I don't know. I can put it up. I can put it on YouTube, or I can put it up. I don't know. Where would you want me to put it?
Well, Christian has a Facebook site. If you can send it to him, he's been putting up all of our YouTube.
Well, you can just log into Facebook and put the video up. It'll just do it.
If you just want to see it, I sent it to everybody a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Was that John recording?
That's the one John shot. Though John says he shot a separate
No,
one.
not the one John shot. The one that was done. I don't know whether it was done professionally or not. It must have been professionally.
What do you have it on a CD?
No, I got it on my phone.
Oh yeah.
No, but Jim, where's yours on a CD?
I have it. I have it on my hard drive.
It's a
I have it
YouTube
on my
website.
hard
It's a
drive.
YouTube.
I have it right now. I have it on a hard drive right now.
If you upload it to YouTube, you can send the links just wherever you want
That's
to
right.
Christian or to. You can even put it on the Mustache site, for people to see.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that Mustache site still
I'll
active?
just send the link to you, Kristen. Chris?
Yeah.
I'll just send the link to you, and then you can do it.
Okay.
You'll put it on YouTube, Chris?
Yeah, that's the best way.
Well, John's putting it on YouTube, I think, and then
I'm going to send the link to him.
He's going to send him the link, and then Chris is going to put it on YouTube, and maybe we'll see that link on the next invitation.
John's brain doesn't work as much as it used to.
Well, if we do another reunion, between Billy and I, we could get nice video and really nice pictures if somebody's not forcing me to hide the camera. Because I had to use a little camera for that, and I'd have loved to have been there with a nice long lens getting beautiful shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we go through all this work, there's no reason not to.
Yep. Jeff Allswing is here, so I'll say this on his behalf just so we get it out of the way. Lake compounds. Okay, carry on.
They would give us the hall. They would give us the hall, and they would provide the group, the people. And you would have a true picture of what the Mustache was like.
But would they let us ride on the roller coaster for free?
I'll put up the money for you guys to be in the motel across the road from Lake Compounds.
Jeff loved that job.
Heck yeah.
Just for us who don't know, what is Lake Compound?
It's an amusement park, right? A big outdoor amusement park?
It's an amusement park. It's an amusement park. It's about 2 miles from ESPN up in Bristol, Connecticut.
It has the oldest wooden
roller coaster. Yeah.
Oh, I got that picture somewhere.
Oh. So where did you play? Did you just play for like Disney, like live background music, or?
No, they had a
show?
huge base that in the 30s and 40s, the big bands used to go up there and play. It's a huge place. It was a very popular place during the 30s and 40s.
It's a great room. It's a great room. I played there. It's a great room.
We would play about half the space that the room is. I think they cut it in half, but it was a lot of, at least 400 or 500 people would come at a night, and they would come and they would just love the Mustache. It was just a fun gig. I don't, there it is. There it is. That's the roller coaster. And then on the other side was the building that we played in. I know.
Like
and
a nice roller coaster.
The building has 3 stories of steps. And I know that because I rolled down all 3 stories. I know that because I tripped on the top of the top step and everyone tried to catch me. And I think they did anyway. But I just went right down. Fortunately, the steps of the wood bounced a lot, so it didn't hurt as much.
Yeah, that's an important feature. It's a totally wooden structure. It's been there since Moses came down from the mountain, I think.
But it's a great place to play. But I don't even know if it's still.
There it is.
As I said, it's a great room. I played the thing for what 400 people about, and it was very, very nice. Acoustically, it works very well too.
Well, like all the big bands used to play there.
Yeah.
So is Joel waiting for Harvard or Yale, something like that? He said when that opens up, they're going to try and schedule the reunion. That's the last I heard. And other than that, we're waiting for COVID to get out of here.
Right.
That's the first priority, because nobody's going to be traveling if there's COVID around without a vaccine.
No one can travel. Socially distanced. Yeah, you can't have a reunion and be socially distanced. You can't do that. And we're all of the age where we're in a risk group, so we really don't want to infect one another either. So
yeah, we'll get the vaccine first.
Well,
let's hope.
The way I look at it, I'm not going to make it, so I'm going to infect as many people as I can.
That's called herd immunity.
Okay, now this was from the this was part of it, wasn't it?
Who is that, Jeff?
Smiling Sam. It was some game.
The Voodoo Man? Smiling Sam, the Voodoo Man?
The Voodoo
Man. Pictures that I got about Lit Compound.
That looks like one of those machines where you put in a quarter or something.
And he puts a curse on you.
And it takes a penny and it squashes it and everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's enough of that.
Was that anybody we know?
All I would suggest is next time you're going to put up pictures, do a little viewing first. Let's get it organized. You're the expert.
It occurs to me that we've all been in a risk group for about 40 years or so.
Yeah. One risk or another, right?
You know what? Yeah, it's just the nature of the risk has changed.
Is that a medical diagnosis or just a comment on a lifetime of depravity?
I think you guys have lived your life. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you went on outside jobs with Marana. How many of those were safe?
My sins are catching up to me.
I got to think that working on Bourbon Street 4 years is a form of inoculation.
From what, though?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything and anything. Yeah.
You can walk out the Mustache and eat a Lucky Dog or one of those corn on the cobs or something, man.
I don't know. I never seen many Chinese people down there. We want to be used.
That was something that Christine or Benu sent.
Wow, that's me. My name.
That's Buzzy in the background, isn't it?
Yeah. Bookings were John Murata.
For bookings, John Murata. I don't remember that piece. We had a lot of things like that. We had a lot of near off color stuff. Some colleges actually would protest. They would say that they didn't want me to send garbage like that to them.
Oh.
And look at those colleges now. God.
It had to be better than Cheyenne Frontier Days, though, John.
Oh, Cheyenne Frontier Days was the worst. Even I thought it was the worst. The first year we were there, the only way you can get out, you had your car parked at the back next to the beer truck. And you had to go through in between these two big posts. So there I am, I'm there one night and I'm counting the money and I got the money all counted now. And now I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna drive to the bank and then to the motel. And all of a sudden I see a bunch of the carnies coming in and they're going into this tent. And they're having a great old time because they are stinking drunk. So I put the bank bag under my jacket, and I walked out, get in the car, and I drive. And at that time I wasn't a good driver, and I hit one end of the post on the side on the passenger drive gets hit. Then I bounce off and hit the driver's side and hit that. And these guys come out and they're looking at me, and I put my foot on the gas and I just flew out of there. So I get to the bank. I get out. I couldn't open the door. I had to get out the door, the passenger door. And I get out. I get the money into the bank. I go and I look around the car. I had smashed in both sides of the car. So now when I go back after the 2 weeks are over, and I go back to the car that we rented it from, I just said, I don't know. Someone in Frontier Days did this to us. We don't know who they were. We filed a police report, but we haven't heard back from them. And I never heard back from them. They never called me back. I just wrecked that car. Where's that at?
Well, this is Frontier to say, isn't it?
Where? We used to have suits like that for when we played in the softball league. But the shirt was white, and it said your father's mustache on the shirt, and the short pants were blue. And it was like our team shirt. That was the first year. That was the only year that we had the short pants, because too many of us ripped our legs up sliding or just falling. So the next year we had long pants. And then what I used to do is, in the beginning, when those suits were new and everything was new, I was thinking of, got to advertise, got to take advantage of advertising. So I made the musicians wear the suits in the airports, on the plane, to the motel. They hated me. Can you imagine Eddie? What was his name? He was a banjo player, short, little stocky guy, but he was
Franny Smith?
Eddie, who?
Franny Smith?
Not Franny, Eddie. His first name was Eddie. Short guy. He was a tremendous banjo player.
Eddie Davis?
Eddie Davis.
Yeah.
Eddie Davis. We're at the airports. Eddie Davis, and he had his friend was a trombone player, a big guy, and they're looking at me as we're waiting at the ticket counter, because every big bunch of people are standing around us looking at how we look. Mm-hmm. And so I said to him, Eddie, I'm dressed just like you. He said, no, you're not. I've got the short pants and I'm the short guy. And he was just pissed. That didn't last too long, because they started ripping the pants. So I figured I better not rip the uniforms. They cost too much. God. And then the girls' outfits were actually more expensive than the guys' outfits, because we had the sequins on them and everything. But the girls took care of their outfits.
That's Franny Smith in the middle.
Yeah.
Barry and that's Pete.
That's Pete.
Is that Ron Gall? That's not Ron Gall, is it?
No.
Barry Foulon.
That's Franny.
Who is that?
Franny Smith and Barry Foulon and Pete Frianides.
Is that who you were talking about, the shark guy?
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember Eddie Davis being short.
Well,
yeah, he's short. He was short.
He was? I remember when you said short banjo player, I thought of Franny right away.
Well, that's normal.
Well, but Eddie was also very stocky. So
right.
Yeah, Les Muscat had it. Les Muscat always used to say, "Franny Smith will be up shortly."
Oh, sad.
Yeah, Les just had a wonderful way of making the pithy statement, not pissy, pithy.
Pithy.
I remember one time I told him, I said, boy, there's no place like the French Quarter. And Les said, promise?
Boy, it's quiet without Jeff here. Real quiet.
I do miss him.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, what happened? Did he stop?
No, he was here last week.
No, he was here last week.
Oh. Well, is the weather bad up there? No, weather's not bad.
I think it was two weeks ago. He had.
I know what it is. He's going out to see Trump. He's going out to see Trump.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it, but
yeah. Hey Herb, I got
Yes,
a
sir.
question. When we played up in Troy, New York, at the Hendrick Hudson Hotel, our washboard player was named
Jerry Garcia.
Oh,
Jerry-
yeah, from Georgia.
From Georgia, Jerry Garcia. And he was furious at me because I refused to let the band take alcohol in the bandstand. I said, we're working, we're doing a job, no drinking on the bandstand. And he thought that was directed toward him. And it was.
Well, I'm surprised because usually he was taking drugs. I don't know why he would take that. He had, I don't know if you remember this, but he came up as a waiter. He was working as a waiter, and he had a girl with him and a baby who had a couple kids. And what happened was she was married to an insurance guy who was doing pretty good. She owned the house and everything, but she fell in love with Jerry Garcia. Now, if any of you don't remember Jerry Garcia, you're going to scratch your head and say, a woman? Anyway, they lived in abject poverty. So one time I had to go to pick them up in Albany, and it's him and his two kids who look like something out of Tobacco Road, and her, and they in the car, and he says to me, it's all over. I said, what do you mean it's all over? He says, she's leaving me. I said, really? I was shocked. I said, what happened? She says, her husband wants to take her back. And I said, geez, shame on him. And she left, man. Oh, man. But Jerry he was a nice guy. He had a good heart, but he was always doing drugs. Or something.
Yeah, he was at it. Jerry, yeah, I remember he came up to me after about the 2 weeks. He said, Herb, when you told us we couldn't take beer up on the bandstand, he said, that hurt. That hurt me personally. And I just had to face it. We were doing a job.
He had plenty of other time to drink because we were staying at that hotel, and there was nothing to do there.
John, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but they sent a band with a first-time leader, that was me, and everyone else was like a side musician. On paper, it was a very weak band.
But that was Troy, New York.
They said we got a 2-week contract, and if you get extended, we'll give you all exorbitant raises. Well, as it turned out, what happened is that everyone in the band had like a strength, and so we passed that strength around. And also what happened is that there was nothing else happening in Troy. And their only place to go was the Hendrick Hudson Hotel. So by the end of the first weekend, it was wall-to-wall people lined out the door waiting to see anything. So we did get extended. We got extended. I'm sure Joe with every penny that he had to hand out because we got good raises, remember?
Yeah.
But there was some places we went, and I remember RIT liked us so much, and they had us, and every time they had us in the beginning, the first couple years, we wouldn't wreck their hall, but it would get wrecked because there was all beer slopped on the floor and everything, and they'd have to clean it up. So this, I think it was like the third year, they had a contest with their architectural people, design a hall for this kind of band and this kind of atmosphere. So they designed the hall, and it's round, and the floor sloped towards the center. And once it was over, the chairs and tables all plastic. Once they would do, they come in and they turn on a fire hose and they'd hit the ceiling so that the water would run down and it would all come down. And I couldn't believe it, how brilliant that was, you know?
Something with sawdust.
They said, we solved thousands of dollars in furniture, in time wasted washing down the floors and getting rid of that stink. And I said, where does it go? He said, you ever hear that song about Cayuga waters?
There's one of the reasons, huh?
Yeah.
It was a distinct smell to walk into a mustache in the morning after a night of beer on the floor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, well, I found that your nose kind of got immune to it while you were working. I'd get home after work and take my clothes off, get a shower, go to bed, get up the next morning and go to school, and I'd smell my clothes. Holy shit, I was wearing those. It's like yeah.
God. Yeah, the worst thing is you don't appreciate the amount of smoke that was.
God.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I had I stay in reasonable shape, and I never smoked in my life, but I had my arteries were all clogged up, and I had to have quintuple bypass a couple of years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Doctors said, well, the only thing we can think of that caused it was secondhand smoke. He said it's chemically the same as any other smoke, so that's what they put down as the cause. And of course, we had 40 years of that, with our heads in the smoke, actually.
So did they put down your father's mustache as the cause?
Cause of death, your father's mustache.
Yeah.
Disney was the same way. We worked in a club where we're way above the people, and they smoked. You got this fog between you and the audience.
I'll bet.
Breathing all that. And they say, well, we put in a purifier. Yeah, right, over in the corner somewhere.
Yeah. But, and you really don't appreciate it until, like, the new laws banning smoking indoors, how nice the air is now. But, I mean, you didn't pick anything up until they made those laws, and you went in and said, well, this is pretty nice.
Yeah, boy, when I get home from a job, I just take all my clothes off and put them in the washing machine and then go up and take a shower.
Yeah, we saw the picture of that on the. Oh, that wasn't you. So, have you ever been to Iceland? Anybody been to Iceland? We tripped there. It took a week, and it's amazing because there's no coal or oil on Iceland. It's all geothermal.
Right.
Cars are run with hydrogen fuel. So there is no pollution. The water is glacier-fed, clean water, no fallout and everything. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. I mean, go to Iceland. First of all, it's a fascinating place to see, but just to experience that level of clean air and clean water is remarkable. It's like no other place on earth, I guess.
Why are their names so long?
What's that?
Why are their names so long?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Iceland, their name is like with every consonant you can stick in there, maybe 2 vowels. I was just like,
I heard Iceland's a wonderful trip.
Must be compensating for something else.
maybe that's a sound they make up when they get up in the morning. Yeah. They're all very tall too, aren't they? Or pretty big.
Did you ever hear that thing with it was on Click and Clack, the talk show?
Abbott Brothers, yeah.
About Clinton sending vowels to Bosnia as a mercy mission. It's as funny as hell. If you ever get a chance to listen to that, that's worth the listen. Your eyes will water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So one of those guys passed away, didn't he? One of the
Tappet brothers died.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
I think both actually now.
They're both on? Oh.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. They still run the shows, you know.
Yeah.
The nice thing about tape, it's all sitting there somewhere.
Yeah, except for the ones that burned up in the Warner Brothers fire or MGM fire, whichever one it was. All that stuff gone. Can you imagine? Probably a mustache show or two that went up in smoke, but that was probably deliberate.
We didn't get to, Tom and I know, and didn't ever get to work on the bandstand, but I can remember the band messing with the waiters more than once with the bar song and Roll Out the Barrels. They would occasionally like throw up a bar song, like you're doing something, and then right immediately after that, you're getting off the bar to go and hit you with Roll Out the Barrels or something, you know, just make us work up a sweat, you know. It was, yeah, it was fun.
Those damn band leaders.
Yeah. We always had a good time though. It was, you know, the people sometimes thought we were part of the show, basically. And the waiters, they thought we're all part of the deal. And it says, no, we work for tips. I'll pay you a lot to work here. No, for tips, actually.
Yeah, Joel used to do, not Joel, Jeff, not Jeff either. Joe Terra used to do a wonderful bit for to get the tips where he would announce he says, hey, don't forget the waitresses. And you should know that they at the end of the evening, they pull their tips together and then they send the money down to the orphanage down the street. So that was Joel's thing, or Joe's thing. What's this about Joel always wanting to be nude? Has anyone figured that out yet?
He streaked through Bill's. Remember Bill's Gay 90s, where Joe's brother Sal worked?
Yeah. Bill Durr
Joe went streaking through there on St. Patrick's Day with a ribbon tied around himself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
There he is.
Joe Terra.
Boy, he remembered everyone's name, everyone's kid's name, their birthdays, everything. He was a remarkable guy.
He was the most normal one in his family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that.
You got a good point there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you work down at Key West, Herb?
Yeah, I did. I guess maybe 5 years. I was after who was Steve? Did Steve Yoakum do it before me? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I took over from Steve when he went out to Europe or something like that, and I did it for the next few years. I had a ball.
You and Barry and Danny Rubio.
No, I wasn't with Barry. I'll tell you, our band was Cynthia, Joe, obviously, and a bass player named John O'Brien, who's a wonderful cartoonist, cartoonist for the New Yorker and Penthouse magazine, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Played bass, and John McLernan on tuba. Or John O'Brien played banjo, side banjo to Cynthia. Cynthia Sayre was on it, and John McLernan was tuba. So it's 5 of us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Had a wonderful time.
Yeah, I'd go down there. I only lived like a few hours from there when I was living in Central Florida. Go down and see him a couple times a year. Great. It was fun. I like Key West.
I love it. Love it too. Where are you living now, Mike?
I live in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
About halfway from nowhere.
Okay.
About 2.5 hours north of Little Rock and about 4 hours south of Kansas City.
Okay. I'll tell you, when I go to Las Vegas, I often like to drive, and I take I-40, and I-40 takes you right past Little Rock. And one of the best things to see on I-40, now don't laugh, is the Clinton Library. The Bill Clinton Presidential Library is spectacular. Don't miss it. It really is good. I mean, what else?
Okay. You know, I've never been. Never been.
Oh, it's a history. It's a wonderful history. And some of the gifts that he got, you know, the presidents aren't allowed to keep their gifts. So some of the gifts that he got from all over the world and everything are just amazing. And
yeah,
a couple of saxophones.
Yeah. Next time you come up, I'll I-40, give me a call. I'll meet you down there. We get together.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about.
I did a trip about 5 times, and I found a little place 40 miles west of Albuquerque. The Pueblo Indians have a little village, a bunch of shacks, but there was a billboard that said "Home of the famous Laguna Burger." And I thought, well, I'm not really a hamburger eater or anything, but this sounds like something I shouldn't miss. So I pulled off the road and had the most spectacular hamburger I've ever had in my life.
Really?
And the next few times I went down, I actually aimed my trip to stop at this hamburger joint. You know, we can't see all the museums in Albuquerque. I got to get this burger.
There you go. Yeah. Well, this is the first day it stopped raining. It's been raining for 6.5 days straight where we're at. And it's cold. Well, for here it's cold. Low 40s. And lots of rain. And it's just, sun come out today. And everybody's going, yeah, yeah, yeah.
John McLaren sent this picture today.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Who's that in the middle in the back?
John McLaren.
That's John.
No.
That's John McLaren?
He said he had blue jeans on, so that's him.
That's it. Okay.
Wow,
I never saw him without a beard.
Yeah, I never did either. That's why I didn't know it was him. And white hair.
Well, I think we all worked on that one pretty good.
Who's playing washboard?
Ira
Gutman.
Yeah.
Is it Ira? Oh, wow.
Hey, Herb, I like that blue trombone.
That's a plastic trombone that sounds amazingly good. Well, not that good, but for a plastic trombone is pretty good. So I was using it just for a visual thing, just for an effect.
Where was this?
Jim would know.
In Lebanon, New Hampshire. You remember when Joel had a, I guess it was a ski accident or something of some sort.
Oh yeah.
And he spent some time in the hospital up there, so we went up and did a benefit for them.
Hmm.
And since you're talking about Captain Tony, he also sent, give me a second.
What about Captain Tony?
John sent this picture.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh
I have
yeah.
that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go down and I'd see Barry and Yoke was there. And we go out on Captain Tony's boat called the Greyhound 4. The first 1, 2, and 3 had been shot out from underneath him because he was running guns.
He was running guns to Cuba.
And I had a friend who lived up in Central Florida, and he said he worked at Captain Tony's, and when everybody go home, turn the lights out, they take these cases of grenades out from underneath the bandstand and move them someplace.
Well, that's a good place to keep them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hot time in the old town tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a boat once with Greyhound 4 reminded me. I saw a boat once that had the name Reliable 3.
Reliable 3.
Yeah, now think about that. Well, whatever happened to 1 and 2,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, really.
I thought that was just a wonderful name. Unsinkable.
Reliable.
Yeah.
So did you meet Captain Tony's daughter?
Which one?
Yeah, little Tony.
Yes.
I never met her. I was there a few years ago. I was with his wife, Marty, and she was getting married. She asked us to come to the wedding, but we were
Really?
heading back. Yeah. How many daughters does he have? Half a dozen?
Only one that I knew of at the time. She was about 15 or 16. Looked like about 25.
That must have been little Tony.
Little Tony.
But we had we owned a property on Stock Island up there, a villa, and we rented it out to Tony and Marty. And but the deal we had was that every once in a while, you know, like once every 2 years, we'd like to come down and use it. Could they just leave it to us for that way? And that was the deal. We gave them a really good rate on the thing like that. And Marty always made sure the rent was paid. She was very good at that. But while we were there, Tony's message machine came on with a guy running. He said, "Hey, Tony, come on with that money and everything. You told me you would have that back to me by," and so, you know, and I'm hearing all this thing about his bad debt. And not 1 week later, Tony says, "Hey, Herb, could I come and speak to you?" And I said, yeah. So we're in the living room, and he says, "I got a situation. My daughter, Tony, she got no fault of her own. She got put in jail and everything. I need to bail her out. And I need to know if I can borrow $200. It would just be for the day, just to get her out. Then she has her hearing the next day and everything else." So he's hitting me up for money after I hear this message. So I had to say, "Tony, if I give you that $200, it doesn't come back. I have to take my family back home because we can't stay for the rest of the vacation. We won't have any money left. I can't give it to you." You know, but he was an addicted gambler, badly. And using people to feed his gambling habit, you know. That's what it was. It was him.
Joe was like that too. Joe was a big gambler.
Yeah. Joe never hit you up, you know.
Well, we had this deal. We used to play on a Friday night or Saturday night. If I was working the sidebar, Russ would come out and he'd start flipping a $50. And he said, "Heads or tails, $5, heads or tails." Well, by the time the night was over, I was in or out a lot of money. So whatever it was, then we had to go into the kitchen now. Now everyone's gone. We're going to play cards. So Joe would come in and a couple other guys would come in and we'd play cards. And you usually play to about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And she wasn't my wife yet. She would just get pissed. But we stay and we play. And after a while, sometimes I'd win, sometimes I'd lose. And so what would happen if I lost and I wanted to play again, I'd borrow $20 from you, Joe, or whatever. And then I'd play. And then if I won all my money back, Russ would get pissed. So we made this deal. If you owe money, you can't play again until you pay that money back. So I said, okay, fine. But at this particular point in time, I had gotten over my gambling bug. But I said, all right. And then I thought a second, but wait a second. There's got to be a way I can make money out of this. So Joe and them are playing, and I'm just watching. And Joe loses, and he owes money. So the next morning, I get to Joe, and I say, "Hey, Joe, how much do you owe?" He said, "I owe him $20. I said, "Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll pay him. I'll give him $20, but you got to give me 25 back." And Joe says, "Okay." So I would pay off the loan. So Joe would be able to go gamble again. And so every day I was making $5, $10, $15 from whoever was playing. And I never gambled. I didn't have to. It was always a sure thing. It was never a gamble. And after a while, Russ catches on that I'm doing all this stuff. So now the new rule is you can't borrow any money from John.
Then you left there and started the title business, title loan companies, didn't you?
Oh, it was a great deal. And Joe and the only one I couldn't tell was Russ. So I was loaning money to everybody. And they had to pay me within 5 days. That was the deal. 5 days.
Hey guys, I gotta check out.
Yeah,
so I'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Next week, guys.
Take care,
guys.
We'll see you.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
That was great, Tom.
Yeah.
That was.
What a character. What a character.
What's that, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago?
Well, we were off for 2 weeks, so it was like 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks
I
ago.
remember I was at that meeting, I'm pretty sure, and so it was before.
2 weeks
Yeah.
before we ended.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? So far since we've been doing this meeting, we've lost 2 of us that have showed up on the meeting. Gone.
Yeah.
And who?
Steve Yoakum.
Yoakum and Murata.
You know what? I won't be on next week. I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared. Oh shit.
Barry and Mike. Joe
I'm surprised Joel wasn't there tonight.
Barry and Mike, Joe Petrocelli said to tell you guys howdy, and he's hoping to get on here and join us sometime in the next month or so.
I've been trying to get in touch with him. I must have a wrong phone number or
You got a pencil?
email address.
You got a
Send
pen?
me his email address and phone number. Would you do that, Mike?
I'll email it to you.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for the week.
Okay, see you next
So
week.
you all stay safe.
All right, Ira.
I'll see you guys next week.
Good to see you all. Happy New Year.
And all these links to get in are all the same. So
Yeah, no.
we gotta get in on Friday.
We got to make sure we're all here next week.
Right.
Now, did the phone numbers change for a reason or what?
No, they're all this. I think it's the same from last time.
I guess what I use completely different new numbers that directed me on your email.
Oh, I don't. You know,
I just click on a link.
Click the link.
Yeah.
Click the link and then you're in.
Yeah, that's all I do. I don't punch in any
I
numbers.
usually do, but today it came up with something different. I don't know.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
I got in. That's the main thing.
But you use the same link, right, Tom?
yeah. It's as far as I know, it's the same link. I just copy it.
I'm going to check it out because I have the others saved.
But
Okay, guys. See you next week.
Okay, Bill. See you.
All right, bye-bye.
you guys
Hey,
later.
Barry, Joe's phone number should be on your phone right about now.
Okay.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You emailed them or
Bye,
what?
Dave. Bye,
I
Billy.
texted it to your
Everybody.
phone.
Bye, Gim.
See you, Tom.
See you, Bill.
Okay,
Barry.
bye-bye.
David. Good seeing
Mike.
you, David.
Chris.
See y'all.
Mike,
Bye,
Chris,
Bye, David.
See you next week.
Billy,